Hey everybody, I'm at the Navy Aviation Museum in Pensacola, Florida to learn about Navy aviators and their airplanes.
When one thinks of Navy aviation, they probably think of this. Yet naval pilots don't go straight to aircraft carriers or even Top Gun. Instead, they get their start at Naval Air Station Pensacola. Known as the cradle of naval aviation, Naval Air Station Pensacola has been training Navy aviators since 1914. To commemorate this rich history of aviation, the National Naval Aviation Museum opened in 1963 and moved to its current 350,000 square foot exhibit building in 1974. The museum features over 150 aircraft from the many eras of the Navy's history. The Navy's aviation history started in 1911 when Glenn Curtiss sold the Navy their first aircraft, the A-1 Triad. This replica shows how the A-1 could function as a seaplane as well as take off from land. With the outbreak of World War I, the Navy would be tested for the first time. By the end of the war, Naval Air Station Pensacola had trained over 400 aviators in a wide variety of different aircraft. Yet it was after the Great War that aviation innovations really started. In 1919, the Navy's NC-4 flying boat became the first aircraft in history to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. With a top speed of just 85 miles per hour, the NC-4 took 19 days to complete the trek, but the Navy had made history. The NC-4 at the museum is the actual aircraft to make that historic journey. The French-made Nieuport 28 was used to test whether aircraft could actually launch from ships at sea. Wood platforms were erected along a gun turret for the plane to take off from. Once these tests were successful, the Navy converted a cargo ship into the first naval aircraft carrier, the USS Langley. Yet it was World War II where naval aviation would truly make a difference. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor may have wrecked the surface fleet of the Navy, but its 4 Pacific Fleet aircraft carriers survived due to not being in Hawaii. This was critical, as carriers and air power would prove decisive in the battles of the Coral Sea and the Battle of Midway, true turning points in the Pacific theater. The museum features many examples of the aircraft that fought in these legendary battles, including the SBD Dauntless, F-4F Wildcat, PBY Catalina, and many others. The museum also shows how the Navy made the transition to jet aircraft after World War II, including early jets from the Korean and Vietnam eras to the F-14 Tomcat of the 1980s Cold War. Naval Air Station Pensacola is probably most famous as the home to the Navy's Flight Demonstration Squadron, better known as the Blue Angels. Showcasing the skills of the best Navy aviators, the Blue Angels have been wowing audiences since 1946. Performing around the country at air shows throughout the year, you can catch them occasionally holding practice at Naval Air Station Pensacola. From biplanes to helicopters, dirigible blimps, and jet fighters, the National Naval Aviation Museum is one of the best aircraft museums in the country. And perfect for the little ones, too.
So come to the Naval Aviation Museum and learn about Navy aviators and their airplanes. It's one of the best places in Florida.